Hello everyone, thank you for joining me once again on this sort of like nonsense journey through the ZX Spectrum's back catalogue. My name is Nick. This game is called Phantis, published by Dynamic Software in 1987. It's on the 48K. It's an action shooter of well, some description, and it's a sequel to Game Over, so this is why this says Game Over 2 there, which also came out on the same year. You take on the role as a character called Major Locke, and you must rescue Arkos, the hero of the first game, who's been kidnapped. I think the game's over sort of like two parts, or two sides of the thing. So first of all, we've got this horizontal shooter. There's not much space to work with. Now the graphics look okay. It's not animating super smoothly, but okay of the era. These reviews aren't about expert gameplay, of course. We know this. It's about seeing how you would have got on your first or second go. I'm not doing too badly here. I haven't been blown up yet. Right, asteroids, cyan asteroids spinning in space. So yes, I'll see how we can play with this game. I'll have a couple of goes if I don't get very far, which is probably likely, but I'm doing okay here. I'll put a poke on for Infinite Lives just so we can see a bit further. Now, according to the instructions, the first phase, or side one of the tape, is over 4 sections. The first one, we're approaching a moon, trying to defeat kamikaze hordes of the Cenoliths. Then we go to a volcanic area, so look out for that. Then we enter an underground cavern. I think that's when we got more of a character running around, and then we need to get to some swamps where there's enemies attacking us on giant toads. So yes, how far will we got? Lives are in the bottom left. Zone 1. Right, is this the volcanic area? We'll see if anything's being volcanic. I can't see any volcanoes. Normally you expect a bit of red. Oh, yeah, so this looks a bit tricky. The action seems to be slowing down slightly, in case it's my own imagination when there's a lot on the screen. The explosion is okay, it's a little bit clunky, but acceptable. 1987. Don't know if this came out on the Commodore Amiga, I'll have to check that one out. Go, 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 and it's game over already. Right, okay, so I've got to sort of like, well, it says Zone 1, perhaps I was still in Zone 1 and didn't reach the volcano. This tune is interesting, so Game Over 2, but called Phantis on the title screen, and the box cover art. 48K. There is a 128K version. I think it's got more beefed up music. Right, okay, so an interesting border around the action. It's not using the full screen, but almost is. Score in the bottom right, lives left in the bottom left, Dynamic Software in the middle in magenta. Game Over 2. Looks like you're going to be hitting Game Over quite a lot in this one. Come on, boys, hold up, baby. Life at the moment, the time recording, is hit a bit of a critical stage. Looking for rents, and I can't afford any. So what can we do here? Broadcast from the woods or something and nick someone else's broadband. So yes, we're in a critical phase. There may be trouble ahead. But while there's moonlight and romance and love and something else, let's face the music and dance. Right, okay, so we're approaching a volcano anyway. Now, if you're liking these reviews, if you watched this far into the video and haven't already, please consider subscribing, because, well, boy, do I need it now. Please consider subscribing. A big thank you to those people that subscribed already, and a huge thank you to the members there. So, got access to the members section. You can see what videos are going up next week. Well, I still can. So, thank you there. Not compulsory by any means, but it does help me a great deal, especially now. Right, forward into space. Game over again. Right, we will put a poke on this time then for Infinite Life, just to see a bit further into the game, to see if it's worthwhile to get into there at the time. Now, if you're liking ZX Spectrum stuff, we have got quite a lot of back catalogue of stuff we've done. Probably about 2,500 videos and growing. Not all Spectrum, but a lot of them are. To get there, click on my username, takes you to the channel page, click on the playlist tab, and ZX Spectrum will be there along with a load of other stuff. So there we go. Right, I think I've almost done the poking. Dooby-dooby-dooby-dooby-doo. This music's quite interesting, isn't it? It's quite soothing. I quite like this music. Right, away we go. Right, so, Infinite Lives, or Immunity, one of the two, we'll soon find out. Well, blown up, and the lives haven't gone down. So, Infinite Lives, although we'll try and play it properly. So, the starfield in the background is sparse, but that would interfere too much with the play. I don't like these yellow things going across either. They don't seem to be power-ups or anything. They just seem to be in the way, and it's like, you know, it's like confusing my brain as I'm trying to destroy these enemies as they come onto the screen. Well, I've got 4 lives now, so it's going up. So, get to that point where I got to last time. These are the kamikaze hordes of the Cenoliths. If you are a kamikaze horde of the Cenoliths, then comment below. If you've just been misquoted, are you a kamikaze, or are you just, you know, I don't suppose there are many hordes of the kamikaze Senelit still about, are they? They're probably all dead because they kamikazed. Unless they were in training and they were just about to go on a mission and it got cancelled due to lack of interest. So how does this game stand up against others? Well, it's quite nice graphically. It's a bit of an also-ran, really. I think, like a lot of the ZX Spectrum games, kids wouldn't have seen a great deal into the game because of its difficulty. The aim for me, really, if I didn't have the Pokemon, of course, was to try and get to the stage where you're out of the ship and running around as a sort of like character, where I think it turns more into an action platformy type game rather than this shooter. But most kids, I think, Volcano bit, I suppose, most kids would have just seen this shooter bit and nothing else. Ship doesn't look very aerodynamic, but people would say to me, you don't need to be aerodynamic in space. It doesn't matter what shape you are, because there's no air resistance. If you want to, you can be a big Borg cube. Yes, resistance is futile, said the Borg. Phantis, don't know what that means. Dynamic Software 87, they've done quite a few games. So it's one of the bigger publishing houses. So if you was a kid in a shop and you wanted to take a risk on your pocket money about games, then Dynamic Software, you know, might be the one to go for on Mastertronic. There we go. They can't go too far wrong with those. They've got the better games and the worst games, but not to the same degree as, say, like a Tynesoft, which have produced quite a lot of awful games. Right. I like the way that you're firing. It's not just a red line here. It's like a ball of flame. Right, there we go. Good. So that's onto that. And now Zone 2, Volcanic area. Well, it's red, isn't it? So that means we're in a volcano. Not much room to work with here. This looks ultra tricky, maybe even as tricky as R-Type. Yeah, this looks, yeah, way too tricky, this little bit. But I'm liking the graphics, I'm liking the nostalgia trip through here. But, yeah, they've got it a little bit wrong. But it's scrolling okay for the era. I mean, modern-day homebrewers with different compilers would be scrolling a lot smoother than this, but it's acceptable for the time when you have nothing else to compare it with. 87, it was like the start of the rumblings very early of the 16-bit computers on the horizon, so 8-bits had to raise their game a little bit, so sometimes they would try maybe a little bit too much that the systems couldn't really cope with. But this is competent. This is competent for Dinamic Software. If I bought this with my pocket money, I would have been quite pleased. There's not a great deal there for me to want to try and go back to it again. I'm looking for originality, really. It's not something that I really get too excited about. Right, okay, we're landing, so we're going to get out the ship. So this is the bit you will want to go to. So the creature looks a bit like a Tawn. There we go, right, Zone 3. This is the entering the underground canyon. Right. I think that's all cavern. Perhaps we're out of the underground cavern. I don't. This looks like where we might meet giant toads, maybe. I'm getting them mixed up. Now, this firing thing, we're up and fire to do that. Yeah, this is a bit tricky. Up and fire to do that. Forward and back to do that. Right, okay. What a clumsy firing mechanism. But it's good animation on this. It's originality again. It's interesting. Not sure too many kids would have got to this point. If you completed this game back in the day, let me know. Prove me wrong. Well, I haven't seen the original game Game Over to see if it does similar bits. Some nice baddies in here too. The instructions say there's 24 different types of enemies. Well, we'll soon find out about that. There's a giant toad, so we are on the bit. I don't know about you, but if I was going into battle against some unknown enemy, I'd definitely get on a giant toad. Toads can be trusted. What could possibly go wrong? Well, I'll tell you what could possibly go wrong. A fly could go past, the toad could get distracted, and before you know it, you've jumped off a cliff. Nincompopery. Right, can we get through? There's a nice little waterfall there. I think the background's going to keep repeating. There's a guy up being held by a big fly thing. There's a giant toad, someone on the back of that. If you are currently watching this on the back of a giant toad, and you're quite benevolent, and you've been misquoted and you're not evil, then comment below. But only if you're on a benevolent giant toad, and you're benevolent being yourself, right? Get that right. Don't mess up at all. Access code 15757. So this is when we do a bit of editing. I'm going to load side 2, and I need that. I need that to get to the next stage. Right, okay, bit of trickery-pokery now. Okay, now we've loaded side 2 of the tape, right? This is still Phantis, Game Over 2, but it should ask us for that access code that hopefully I've written down correctly from before. So shout that at me so I get it right, and we can continue with the game, right? We know what the access code is, isn't we? There we go, it's 187. Oh, test you. 7, no, it's not that. See, I'm just testing you. 18757. There we go. And we're into the game. I don't know if it stays. It must stay the same code every time because your side 2 doesn't know what's happened on side 1. That is for sure. So we will continue our adventure now. We've gone through the swamp with toads, and now we're in some sort of jetpack thing with some terrible colour clash. What's that thing? I think that thing's helping us. Right, side 2. This is a bit weird. Now, our health, I imagine, is that heart that's going to go down a little bit each time. I don't think I can take much more of this side. Oh, how many kids would have played this bit? This is a bit weird. I feel like I'm in some bizarre dream. So side 1 is better than side 2. God, look at that. The first bit of the game won't colour clashing like this. Anyway, never mind. It's zxspectrum. We can let it get away with that sort of thing. Heart's a bit low, and I've kaboomed. Right, 3 lives left. So the poke's no longer working because I've reloaded stuff. I won't put a poke in this time. We'll just see how far we can get. It looks like this when the enemies get killed, they turn into a cactus briefly. That space hopper thing is helping me by defeating the enemy. I don't know why that should be, but he's there. Oops, there we go, falling down here. Right, okay, so that's a gun. It's the ionic turbo laser. Hooray! But that makes a bit things helpful. So we haven't got Space Hopper Man helping us this turn. If you are Space Hopper Man, then comment below. Does Space Hopper Man need his own game? It looks like a poor version of Dan Dare now. This bit could have been done a lot better. But anyway, it's an adventure, and I feel like I am getting somewhere with this. Good animation on the guy walking along. That's come forward quite a way. So I like him. I like the way he can suddenly turn into a jetpack. That's good to jump over sort of like things. So it's not just a normal jump. Some of these creatures remind me of the cyan ones. They remind me of the things found in the chair in Alien, if you know that sort of thing. Or maybe he's featured briefly in Prometheus 2. But yes, 24 different alien things to defeat. Have you seen them all? The enemy are regenerating a bit like the creatures from Attic Attack but I don't think it's the sort of game where you need respawning enemies. I think it's going to kill it and make it a bit more difficult than it maybe should be. So we've got a bit of a maze network here. A map would be quite useful, but a map is not what I've got. I've not got a map. If you've got a map, then hold it up to the screen. Maybe I can see it. 1 life left. Kabuff. Right, now, let's just wander around. Let's see what we can find. What's that over there? It's a yellow thing. It's the proton loader. Great. Well, we probably need that to go and rescue Arkos, the hero of the first game, which at some point we will review. If you're watching this not live as they go up months afterwards, we might have already reviewed it. But anyway, Phantis / Arkos. Yes, there we go. Red and green. Game over 2. Green grass on a red thingamajig. Oh man. I wouldn't have minded the game started off like this first of all, so you actually get to your ship. That would have been better, rather than starting off the ship first of all, because this is where the character is, this sort of area. So get to this, then get to the quite forgettable horizontal scroller shooter. It has to be said, that's a dead end. So we need to know what to do. We've got the gun, which is useful. Now we need to know what to do with that ionic, whatever it was, that yellow thing, in order to maybe escape this bit. So it's a puzzle solver as well. Some people might have completed this game, but not many. It's super duper, uber tricky, getting used to that inertia and stuff there. As I say, the respawning enemies is killing it a little bit for me. With the impreciseness of the boosting. Oh, can't get through there, that's tricky. So I need to get over the top somehow. Looks like there's a tennis court there. Looks like a tennis net. Oh man, caravan. Good. The screens are updating nice and quickly, but you would expect that anyway. Drawing them super quick. No room names. I say I'm a big fan of room names in games as you go around. It gives the area much more character. Yeah, that does look like a tennis net. That bit we just crossed. Maybe it's just a picket gate anyway. So drop down here. Oh, we've gone around in a big circle, have we? Yeah. All right. Now I'm a little bit lost. This is the bit now I need a little bit of help. So overall thoughts then. Graphics are good. Initial shooter, a little bit uninteresting. A number of enemies, good animation once you get there. Quite difficult, so a lot of kids wouldn't have seen the full game, so I'm glad we played it with a few pokes. Interesting, there's 2 sides of the thing to look at, but there we go. So we will leave that there. Hope you liked having a look at that game. That was Phantos there on the zxspectrum 48K, published by Dinamic Software in 1987. Got any comments about this game, similar games, or anything retro, then by all means put that in the comment section below. Until next time, take great care of yourself, and a very fond goodbye.
Goodbye.
I don't know about you, but if I was going into battle against some unknown enemy, I'd definitely get on a giant toad. Toads can be trusted. What could possibly go wrong? Well, I'll tell you what could possibly go wrong. A fly could go past, the toad could get distracted, and before you know it, you've jumped off a cliff.